Surviving infidelity. Wife has informed me she is now poly after 9 years of monogamy. My wife, who I've been in a monogamous relationship with for over 9 years, just let me know that she's poly, and I can either be okay with her having loving romantic relationships with other people, that don't include me and she doesn't want me involved in, though she'll tell me about them if I want, in addition to me, or without me, but this is who she is now. She suggested I come here for help dealing with this. I don't even know how to begin processing this. It went from, I want to try a three-way, which involved me crying on the other bed while she was vigorously sucking his D, to either be okay with me going all out emotionally and physically with whoever or I'm leaving you. She packed up and left during therapy today when I said I couldn't be okay with everything she wanted. She threw the IVF meds in the trash. Meeting halfway for me was I'm okay if we do things with other people as long as I'm still involved. Meeting halfway for her was, what if I go out and do these things and see if it really bothers you as much as you think? Then if it turns out you are okay with it, great, otherwise I leave then. Comments before the updates. This is called cheating. Her naming it and announcing beforehand doesn't change that. She cannot coerce or force you into it. I encourage you to show her this thread and give her an offer, therapy or divorce. This came out in therapy. We have another appointment tomorrow. Excellent. I thought it was strange to have this come from nowhere, and likely there were other major issues going on. It's ridiculous to tell you that you must be comfortable with poly when you obviously are not. This situation is probably simply beyond repair. Please realize that this is not common to polyamorous people. Being polyamorous means your wife has the capacity and the desire to have multiple relationships. It does not mean that she is entitled to be abusive, cruel or unethical in the pursuit of those desires. It does not mean that she is entitled to remain in a relationship with you, when the conditions of that relationship have fundamentally changed. It does not mean you have to tolerate her bad behavior. I told her I could be okay with us having other partners. That was not enough. She needs to have other partners that I am not involved with. The only concession from full-on everything, is that she'd be okay with staying together and doing everything she wants and seeing if I'm really not okay with it then. And if it turns out and I'm not okay with it after she's gone and done it, she'll leave then. Yep, she's cheating. And her not giving a damn about your feelings is beyond messed up. I'm sorry, man. Now for the first update. It's now been a bit over 4 months since my wife came out as poly. She came back about 2 weeks later. She insisted we make a rules of respectful poly agreement, which we did and both signed per her insistence. This included no male secondaries until I was ready. I wasn't really ready for secondaries at all, as it was all so much to take in, but thought if she could pursue a girlfriend it would make her happy and bother me less than a boyfriend would. She swore up and down that the guy I had felt she was cheating on me with to some degree, sending nudes, remote control lush, emotional cheating, was only because he helped her come to terms with who she was, and she didn't think of him in that way at all. I accepted this and it actually made me feel a lot better, knowing that she hadn't actually been cheating on me. That lasted for about 3 weeks with her continuing to constantly talk to him, until they started officially going out and the nightly videos started. After a couple of weeks of that, she at least stopped moaning loudly enough to keep me awake. She started going on dates with him, during the height of the quarantine, where she told me that she didn't have any boundaries, so there was nothing he could ask of her that she'd say no to. About a month and a half ago, he started giving her commands and she started to wear a new collar, pretty much 24/7. A few weeks after that, she finally admitted that they had decided he was her new master, in the BDSM style. So far we've been fairly low-key about me being her master, and he had picked out the collar. At this point, she started to feel really bad. I think she's felt pretty bad about how she's gone about things all along. This was just extra bad due to all the lies she had to tell to keep it a secret, and offered to not have sex with him until I was ready. Since then she, and our therapist, have been acting like I'm an a-hole for accepting her offer and not immediately saying I'm okay with something I'm not at all okay with. They've also been saying that everything she's done is in the past, and I should have already forgiven her for it. A couple of days ago she informed me that he's planning on buying her a full-on locking collar for her to wear, instead of the simple one he merely picked out. During this time, I've spent a lot of time reading up on poly, lurking here, exercising, reacquainting myself with friends, thinking about poly, and thinking about our marriage. At this point, I think I could be happy in a healthy poly or monogamous relationship. I also do not think that this has been a remotely healthy poly relationship. I'm 4 months in, but she's been obsessing over him and doing things that could very much be considered cheating for over 8 months. I think in the future poly will not be a deal breaker for me, but I also feel like the chances of saving this marriage are somewhere between low and non-existent. Now for some comments before we read the final update. That's very strange on the therapist. Can you remember something specific they said? Sadly, she has no interest in you, except a convenience. She is in new relationship energy and sub-frenzy, and has no motivation to respect you or the relationship. I would give her a move-out date. You tried therapy. Get a new therapist for you to keep doing your work, and tell spouse it's over. There are only really 2 specific things that I can remember her saying. She said, "It was a good thing we didn't finish IVF because I wouldn't be a good father if I got upset when my wife dropped what she was doing with me, to run outside and answer her phone call from her boyfriend without saying a word to me." She also somehow got the idea that the only problem I have with her current boyfriend is that he's much more successful than I am, when I told them that my biggest problem with her current boyfriend is that every step of their relationship has been done in secret, with me only finding out after the fact, and after a series of lies to try and hide the fact. I think your assessment is spot on. I noticed you said, one of the things you were doing was reacquainting with friends, which sounds like you were isolated. I think you had an emotionally manipulative partner who was inconsiderate to your needs. I appreciate that you don't label all polyamory bad because your partner was bad. I wasn't really isolated from my male friends. She drove my female friends away years ago due to a number of reasons, including her feeling like they were using me. I just would always prioritize her over them, so if my friends wanted to do something, I was only available if she wanted to join as well, or she was busy with something she didn't want me involved with. I know, super unhealthy and mostly on me. Now for the conclusion of this story. Told wayward wife that I need a divorce. Today has been rough at best. I told my wife, who still somehow doesn't think that being in a relationship she agreed not to have, that I did not consent to that was done behind my back, is an affair. That I need a divorce. She still thinks that poly is a magic word that somehow makes what she's done and still doing, not an affair. I can't stop hoping that she'll come to her senses and come back to me, but I can't continue this marriage on that fleeting hope any longer. Not really looking for any advice, I'm finally taking the advice I was given months ago, just thought I'd share with the anonymous masses that has read it. The therapist still thinks that I'm not okay with the poly lifestyle unless it benefits him, and I found out that her and her master have been calling me SD for sissy dom. I read her messages for the first time since this all started after I told her I needed a divorce, because why not? I still feel bad for breaking one of the rules of our agreement to read her messages, even though she's been completely ignoring the rules. I also found out that the girl she had said her master was thinking about having as another girlfriend, was already in a triad with her and her master when she told me. Now for the final comments of this saga. I also found out that the girl she had said her master was thinking about having as another girlfriend, was already in a triad with her and her master when she told me. You can't compete with this, nor should you. Accelerate the divorce. If you've told her you need a divorce, which is different than saying, I'm divorcing you, and don't pull the trigger, she'll deem you incapable of doing so and it'll be worse for you than it already is. Waywards know a bluff when they hear one. She'll be in complete control, more so than she's in now actually. Oh, it's happening. Don't want to get too much into financial details, but it's in progress. Nice job. Waywards who are in La La Land have a tendency to agree to unfavorable settlements for themselves due to dumping the shame burden and erasing their wrongs, by giving the betrayed a good deal as it's good for their conscience. This may be the case with you, so capitalize upon it if possible. She might agree to an unfavorable settlement if I tried. But that's not what I'll do. We got into this because of her dishonesty and lack of respect. I will not stoop to her level. I really pride myself on my honesty. Also, it would cheapen my doing better without her if I knew that dishonesty and an unfair divorce helped. This is the BS damage that low-integrity enablers like Dan Savage and Esther Perel caused in the world. That's cheating? Well, it's not really cheating. It's being monogamish or poly or brave or reclaiming their independence or exploring their sexuality, or whatever weasel word salad they want to use at the moment to sound good, get people listening to their podcasts and get Cosmo to pay them to write articles for. Savage even has a term for forcing or manipulating poly relationships on an unwilling partner. It's called poly under duress or PUD. Essentially, it's how you groom/manipulate/ultimatum your partner into consenting to your infidelity. It's disgusting. The fact that they didn't actually get their partner's consent to this new relationship mode before they did it doesn't seem to matter to these people. All those styles are just fine if people consent to them freely. Apparently, consent is only a thing when it's convenient for them. Bro, your story is downright heartbreaking. I can't believe it took you 6 months to ask for a divorce. There are a lot of poly/open marriage articles written by psychos on the web that these people read. These armchair experts claim that humans were never designed to be monogamous, and so if you are having an affair, it's so natural. They go on with so many other BS. None of these are correct. Humans are unique species who require as much as 16 years of incubation time before offspring becomes full-fledged adults. This is the time offsprings need stable father and mother providing their uniqueness and deep bonding. This is why human kids naturally get devastated when they lose one parent. This is why human kids get super confused when one parent shows loyalty to multiple partners. This is the expectations ingrained into humans. There is no such thing as open marriage. Many couples pretend to have healthy open marriage. It's all BS. When humans offer up themselves to another partner, it's always with implicit loyalty and trust. When you start having multiple regular partners, your loyalty shifts, your priorities are distorted. It may not affect you too much in short term, but it's only a matter of time. If partner A gets a great job and requires relocation but wife is deep into partner B who can't relocate, then now what? If partner A thinks every kid should learn Spanish and partner B feels that it should be French, how the indifferent mother would make a decision? Does the preferences, culture and wishes of partner A are impacting kids from partner B? Loyalty comes into play in so many little and big things in life. I do not oppose poly lifestyle, but people wanting that shouldn't get married, and if they do, shouldn't absolutely be having children. That's super irresponsible on their part. Now for the last story. Partner, 26 female, has been cheating on me, 30 male, for the past 6 months with a co-worker. Not really sure how to start this off, but yeah, I just found out Sunday night and confronted her Monday morning. Just need people to talk to, I guess. We've been together for roughly 2.5 years. We've had disagreements in the past, but we have never once legit argued with each other. I've done the whole yelling match thing in a past relationship and that doesn't solve anything. She's a genuinely nice and very sweet person, but this just skews my entire perspective of her. Up until roughly 6 months ago, our relationship was great. We communicated well, our life was very good, and then the was pretty much non-existent. Up until this point we've had a few serious discussions, trying to figure out what was wrong to get back on track. My issue during these discussions was always the lack of intimacy or feeling wanted. It was pretty straightforward. When it came to her issues, she said that we moved in together too quickly, she's never lived alone/always had roommates, and she needed space. I was fine with that. Mistakes happen, maybe it was too quick for her. We've been looking for the past couple months to try and get her an apartment that she could afford on her own. But in that time, my intimacy issues still didn't see any progress. She works in a group home, and because of COVID and other staff getting sick or awaiting test results, she's been getting 70+ hours per week. I want to note that I hate creeping on people's phones or other devices, and I value trust/privacy greatly in a relationship, but I just started getting suspicious. And well, Sunday night, my suspicions got the better of me and I logged onto her laptop while she was at work. Freaking obviously, I see some damning conversations dating a while back. Then, I managed to log into her Instagram and found very recent conversations to the same person. When I confronted her, she didn't deny anything that I found, and admitted that quite a few times when she got overnight shifts wasn't actually going to work. She didn't really give me an excuse, but basically said when we first met, that's when she had reached her goal weight. And then when she started her new job a couple months prior to when the cheating first started, she started getting a lot of attention from the men that worked there. I get that, validation is nice from attractive dudes if you're not used to it, but it's not an excuse to just go F somebody because he calls you hot a few times. The confrontation was pretty brief. At the end, basically gave her a free pass to end the relationship, but she wanted to work through it. I just told her to leave and stay with her mom, so I didn't lose it on her and I could have time to think. Monday night she sent me a long text apologizing profusely about hurting me, betraying my trust, etc. I responded yesterday basically pointing out how messed up it was, that she's been letting this go on for so long and that I had to find out myself instead of her coming to me. I added that it was messed up, that she knew my issues with the relationship and that she was lying about needing space to cover the fact that she was cheating. I ended up asking her why her life took a nosedive, And she said it was because she felt extremely guilty and wouldn't do anything with me until she told me, and the anxiety and depression kept her from speaking up. I then asked her if she had feelings for the guy that she had been seeing. She said no. There were a few more texts from her apologizing and all that. But you're basically caught up to today and right now. Always thought I'd be able to end a relationship if I got cheated on, but I love her to death and she messed up. I want to give her a second chance, and I know I won't be able to hold it over her head if I decide to forgive her. I just don't know how to forgive her. Now for the top advice. Cheating during 6 months, she doesn't love him, so it was only physical? But she didn't want to have sex with you. I wish you the best if you try to stay with her, but I can't see where you can still trust her after what she did during so much time. It's not like a one-time thing. And she did everything to hide it. She has nuked the relationship. Face it, you are better off without her. She is simply taking advantage of your feelings. Sacrificing your pride for someone who betrayed you is not worth it, no matter what. She lied for 6 months. Trust is hard when you know she can cheat again. The love will fade and turn to resentment and loss of self-value. Stay strong and move on. And that's the end of the video, guys. Thank you for coming this far. Leave a comment and hit like and subscribe if you like the content. I'll catch you in the next video. Good day everyone.